Hello, soul family. If you're new here, welcome to your channel. And if you're a returning beautiful soul, welcome back home. I'm so glad to have you here with me today. In today's video, we're going to dive into a really flowy, intuitive reading. Something a little different, but definitely potent and full of insights. This one feels especially for a specific divine feminine who's navigating some very unique energies right now. As an announcement, we have just launched our Patreon and YouTube membership platform. Please subscribe as new content and features will be added in the coming weeks. Thank you to our current supporters, and I will be reaching out to you individually in the coming weeks. Oh, I'm feeling the vibes already. Lots of shifting dynamics and some deep karmic lessons coming through. It's like the universe is calling you to step into your power, to see things as they really are, and to reclaim your space with clarity and confidence. And also, I forgot to mention, today, we're going to dive deep using the energy oracle cards to uncover the messages that are coming through for us. These cards have a way of revealing hidden truths and guiding us through the energetic waves we're currently navigating. So, if you're feeling called, stay with me as we explore this reading together. I have another channeled message that came through with a lot of clarity, and this one is quite specific. It might resonate deeply with some of you, while for others it might not quite hit home, and that's okay. Trust what feels right for you. Now let's dive into this. I'm tuning into a very tricky masculine energy today, a very sneaky soul. What's coming through strongly is that there's a deep connection here, one that might have felt like soulmates at one point. Perhaps in the past, you were intertwined with this masculine energy, feeling that profound, unexplainable bond. But I sense that your perspective on this connection has shifted recently. Maybe you've started to feel yourself moving away, detaching from this energy. I'm not entirely certain where you are on this timeline, whether you're just beginning to recognize this shift, or if you're already well on your way out of this energy's influence. What's clear, though, is that there are layers to this story. Messages are coming through that span across the 3D, events happening right here and now in your physical reality, and yet there's a powerful energetic undercurrent feeding into those events. This current flows from the spiritual side, reaching back through past lives, weaving through old karmic patterns. These are energies that you can still feel lingering in your space, like echoes of the past, still reverberating in your present. It's almost as if this sneaky energy from the past is still playing out, subtly influencing the now, reminding you of lessons learned and perhaps still to be learned. Now, this is interesting. There's a strong past life energy between you and this masculine. What's coming through so clearly is a pattern, a karmic loop that seems to have repeated itself over multiple lifetimes. It's as if in each incarnation, this masculine energy has taken on the role of the backbiter, the betrayer, the one who moves in the shadows. But here's the twist. He doesn't see himself as sneaky. In his mind, he's the strategist, the one who's always a step ahead, always believing he can't lose. There's this air of unshakable confidence around him, a belief that he's playing the perfect game. But let's be honest, this pattern of betrayal, of thinking he can outmaneuver everyone has deep roots. I'm feeling it began 3 or 4 lifetimes ago. It's like he stumbled upon this realization that he could sneak around, play both sides, and somehow still come out on top, having his cake and eating it too. And at some point along his soul's journey, this became more valuable to him than his spiritual growth, more important than being true and good to the soulmate connections in his life, not just with you, but with other soulmates he's crossed paths with as well. I'm going to start by shuffling my energy oracle cards here to tune into the energy surrounding this reading. Let's see what Spirit wants to bring forward today. And here we go. The Deceit card has come out. This is telling us everything we need to know about the energies we're dealing with right now. This masculine has surrounded himself with a group of betrayers, and in doing so, he's become one himself. He's deeply entangled in a very karmic soul group, friends, siblings, maybe even children, all carrying heavy karmic energy. I'm picking up strong Gemini energy here, a sign that can often mirror dualities, and this karmic web around him seems to amplify that. There's a sense that he's caught in these complex karmic situations, which makes it all the more difficult for him to see clearly or break free. He may even have karmic debts he needs to repay, possibly even to children, which adds another layer of challenge to his journey. But remember, it wasn't always like this. There was a time when his energy was different, more aligned with his true self, and you can still feel the remnants of that. On a soul level, the memory of who he was to you, or who he is meant to be, lingers, and it creates confusion. It's like a haunting whisper of a different time, pulling at your heartstrings, making it hard to see things for what they truly are. What's especially painful is this underlying energetic knowing, this sense that he deliberately keeps you where he wants you. There's a calculated effort here to keep you in the lurch, in a blind spot, hidden from the truth. This masculine is very strategic about maintaining control, about keeping you guessing and unsure. Okay, and I'm getting the hostilities card showing up here. So what I'm sensing here is that this betrayal is definitely coming from him. But here's the twist. He's playing a deeper game. He's counting on you to associate that betrayal energy with 3 other people around you, rather than recognizing it as coming directly from him. I think this might be something that has played out in the past as well. There's a thick, murky layer of confusion between you and him, almost like a veil that keeps you from seeing his actions clearly. On a karmic level, what's really happening is that you've been surrounded by this dense, negative energy, and it's very much tied to a particular friend group. I'm seeing about 5 people who are positioned behind you. They've been neutralized, almost like they're in a state of limbo. These are individuals who, under different circumstances, would rush to your aid, who have a natural inclination to support you. But right now, they're caught in a web of karmic interference, possibly because of lies, gossip, or misleading narratives being spread around you. These karmic energies are muddying the waters, making it hard for them to see the truth or to know how to act. They're confused, unsure of what to believe, and because of that, they're hesitant to step in or stand up for you. It's as if they feel they're caught in a battle they can't win, a situation where taking sides could only bring more conflict. Now, I'm getting something interesting here. What's coming through clearly is that there are people in your circle, good people, genuine friends, who would stand up for you in a heartbeat. They want to protect you, to have your back, but they feel stuck. There's a sense that they would face significant challenges if they did, or perhaps they don't feel they have the full truth of what's happening here. This uncertainty has them in a sort of holding pattern, neutralized by confusion and fear of stepping into a conflict they don't fully understand. Then there are these three other individuals. Two of them seem tightly aligned, almost like they're operating in lockstep, while the third one sits slightly apart, someone you might interact with more frequently. These three are the active betrayers in your midst. They're aligned with this masculine, playing their part in his games, and he believes he's moving so cleverly in the shadows that you can't see the truth of their actions. He thinks he's outmaneuvering you, keeping you in the dark, and maintaining his hold over you through their deceit. I'm hearing that you might have felt like kids together, just goofing around, sharing lighthearted moments, and having those deep, meandering conversations that seem to flow so easily. It's like there was a carefree, almost innocent energy between the two of you at times. But here's what's crucial to understand. This masculine is two-faced, and so are the friends he surrounded himself with. There's a lot of duplicity in the energy around you, and it's not by accident. This masculine has deliberately placed these two-faced energies strategically around you. On a soul level, it's so important for you to recognize this, because staying connected to this masculine energy puts you at risk. It leaves you vulnerable to manipulation and deceit. He moves away from you, and in doing so, he thinks he's put you in a weakened position. To him, this is a kind of wish fulfillment, a strategic advantage. He believes that by distancing himself, he's somehow gaining the upper hand, leaving you exposed and unsure. But what he doesn't realize is that he's left you wide open, not just to his own games, but to the intentions of others who may not have your best interests at heart. There's a particularly troubling energy here, someone who perhaps sees you as a trophy or a conquest. Yeah, I'm definitely hearing the word trophy here. I'm sensing that this masculine has been trying to initiate some kind of new beginning, perhaps financially or in his career. He's been pouring his focus and energy into this endeavor, but it seems like things aren't really taking off the way he hoped. He's starting to feel discouraged, and that frustration is feeding into this crossroads moment you're both experiencing right now. I call it a crossroads because this is where his path and yours are diverging in a significant way. In his mind, he's still thinking strategically, believing he can maintain a double life, compartmentalizing his emotions, his actions, and his plans. He's convinced he can keep you in a certain state of unknowing or uncertainty while he goes off to pursue whatever it is he's focused on. It's almost like he thinks he can keep everything separate, neatly tucked away, so that his actions in one area of his life won't spill over into another. I'm hearing, what you don't know won't affect his plan. Or maybe it's more like, what you don't know won't hurt you. But there's a selfishness to this logic, a lack of genuine concern for how his actions might truly affect you. It's not about protecting your feelings. It's about protecting his own interests, his own ability to move freely without the weight of accountability. He believes he can have it both ways, keep you in the dark and carry on with whatever he's doing elsewhere. But life doesn't work like that. Energies are interconnected, and you can't truly separate one aspect of yourself from another without consequences. Okay, now I'm getting that this masculine is completely shut down when it comes to his heart space. There's so much love he holds for you, love that he hasn't accessed, that he can't fully embrace because you're his soulmate. It's as if he's intentionally put up a wall around his heart, and this is something that dates back to a past life. When he stumbled or fell in a previous incarnation, he chose to shut down his heart rather than face the pain and the damage he caused. He didn't want to acknowledge the hurt, so he decided to compartmentalize his emotions. It's like he chose to distance himself, to run away from the truth of his actions. He may have even physically moved to another place, trying to live his life as if he could just leave all the emotional baggage behind. I'm sensing that this pattern is repeating in this lifetime. He's distancing himself again, trying to distract himself with new plans, schemes, or whatever else he thinks might help him avoid dealing with the deeper emotional truths. It's a cycle of avoidance, where instead of facing his feelings and the consequences of his actions, he chooses to disconnect, both from his own heart and from you. Okay, yes, I'm getting a strong sense of what's going on here. It feels like this masculine is convinced that you're blocked off from seeing his true intentions, that you don't see the betrayal happening right in front of you. He's moving very stealthily around a relationship, almost like he's playing a game. And it's coming through that he wants to offer his version of the Caring Connections card, which represents a bond or emotional offer to someone from his past. But here's where it gets complicated. He also wants to offer you this Caring Connections energy, but not fully, not openly. He doesn't want you to see the depth of this offer or the real emotion behind it. He's trying to maneuver around this, strategizing his way through it, rather than being honest and straightforward. Again, this is very tangled, very karmic energy at play. What I'm picking up is that instead of offering this Caring Connections card to you in a genuine, heartfelt way, he's looking to give it to someone from his past, but in a calculated, strategic manner. There's no real, authentic emotion behind it. It's more about keeping his options open or playing his cards in a way that serves his interests. The reason things ended, or why things might be on shaky ground, is becoming clearer now. It's because the foundation was unhealthy, possibly even abusive. There's a sneaky, manipulative energy behind it all. Betrayal, hidden motives, and a lack of balance or fairness. It's as if he's been operating in a space where there's unequal give and take, always trying to get more than he's willing to give. For some of you, there might have been a situation where money was exchanged between these two, possibly as part of a planned or orchestrated relationship. It could have involved payments to keep certain truths hidden, like a secret pregnancy or the real reason something came to an end. There might have even been money exchanged to avoid legal issues from surfacing. Despite all of this masculine seems to think he can't lose by going back to this situation. I'm sensing a strong scorpionic energy here, which often points to hidden agendas, power struggles, or intense emotional undercurrents. It feels like this is a very negative situation, one that he knows he needs to extract himself from. He might have recognized this need to get out in the past, but it seems he believes there's still something to gain by returning, whether it's money, a chance to reinvent himself, or to elevate his status in some way. And I'm hearing that you might not have thought about this masculine for a while, but somehow he's reappeared on your radar. It seems like he left you surrounded by some very negative influences, but despite that, your deepest wish was for a fresh start, something solid and secure, symbolized here by the Ace of Pentacles. You're the builder, always have been. You crave stability and don't mind starting from scratch, as long as what you're building is truly yours and has strong, healthy boundaries. It feels like I'm describing you perfectly here. You're willing to accept that he might not have much to offer, but that's only as long as he's truly yours and capable of setting and maintaining those strong boundaries, which, let's be honest, wasn't the case in the past. Because of your soulmate connection with this masculine, this situation must have been confusing for you. Your wish was simple, a new beginning where you could feel safe with him and build something meaningful together. But that foundation requires honesty, commitment, and stability, things that have been lacking. But I feel like you had to come to terms with the fact that this was just not going to happen. He's no longer in that energy. He's not the person he once was. He's really fallen in his energy and has been playing games with you, trying to manipulate you. He even aligned himself with people who were clearly your enemies, surrounding you with negativity. I'm hearing now that a real man would have stepped in to protect you from that kind of energy. Actually, I'm picking up on a new energy coming into your life, someone who could be a fire sign. I'm seeing the King of Wands here, someone confident, a natural leader, self-assured, and perhaps someone who has faced disrespect in their own past. I'm also seeing the King of Swords, represented by the hawk, a symbol of sharp vision and decisiveness. It feels like this new energy is coming in for you. And if this old masculine isn't going to step up and be what you need, then this new energy will fulfill that role. He had his chance to be that person, but he missed it. You've been nurturing a new dream, a vision of moving away from being disrespected, and this desire has only grown stronger as a result of his actions. His attempt to leave you feeling vulnerable has backfired. He surrounded you with 3 negative influences, fully aware of their nature, when he should have stood up against them. I keep hearing this presence, maybe a grandfather figure, expressing frustration, almost like he's shaking his head at the old masculine's weakness, saying, "A real man wouldn't act this way." This energy is fiercely protective, almost like he's watching over you and guiding you towards someone who will truly value and respect you. He also might have had striking brown eyes, and I'm getting the name John here for some strange reason. But I'm going to move on from it. Yeah, I'm getting a strong sense here, almost like a firm voice coming through saying, "That's not how we raise men in this family. No, we don't. We raise them to stand tall, to take action, to do what needs to be done." This energy is clearly disappointed with how things have played out. The truth is, He didn't protect you like he should have. Instead, he tried to use your vulnerability to his advantage, leaving you wide open to all kinds of negativity. But from that place of pain, something new started to bloom within you, a dream. A dream where you are truly cared for and safe. You've never asked for much in terms of material wealth. Your dreams have always been simple, rooted in a desire for security, stability, and respect. You envisioned a life where you could have a solid foundation, where you're cherished and respected, and if there were to be a man in your life, he would be someone who could be that safe, supportive presence, providing that soft place to land when you need it most. It's not about luxuries or grand gestures. It's about the feeling of being safe and secure, knowing someone truly has your back. And that's what you're moving toward now, manifesting a reality where your needs are honored, where your heart feels at peace, and where you're no longer left open to the games of others. I'm sensing that you're really just over it at this point. This whole situation feels like it's deeply rooted, stretching back across past lives. It's this masculine energy that has either surrounded you with this negativity or has simply allowed it to persist, which is why you found yourself in a space where you haven't been respected. I'm hearing that this masculine is going to be utterly and completely shocked the next time he sees you. He was expecting you to be exactly where he left you, insecure, alone, struggling with a negative self-image. He thought that the negativity he left you in would wear you down, making you vulnerable enough for him to slide back into your life. That was his plan, his wish fulfillment, to come back in and offer you something that's far less than you deserve, thinking you'd be grateful for any scrap of attention or affection he throws your way. In his mind, he's been working out this double life, thinking he can go off and get some money from someone he believes he's outsmarting. He's convinced that he can then return to you with this so-called offering, what's coming through as a small ace of pentacles. But this isn't a grand gesture or a substantial commitment. It's more like a tiny cottage, a token, something small and inadequate. And then he's planning to follow that up with an offer of passion, thinking that'll be enough to win you over, expecting you to be overjoyed because he assumes you've been sitting in misery and would take anything he gives. But he's got it all wrong. You're not where he left you. You've grown stronger, more confident, and you're no longer willing to settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. His plan is going to backfire because you're standing in your power now, and you won't be fooled by his half-hearted offers or his attempts to manipulate you back into his life. Okay, I'm pulling in the Broken Heart card from the Energy Oracle deck, and it aligns perfectly with what's coming through here. This man was completely fine letting you sit in a state of pain and confusion, and that speaks volumes about who he is now. You've had a chance to see this clearly, to understand his true nature. It's sad, really, because I don't think he was always this way. But the reality is, you have to confront who he is now. A fallen masculine, deeply entrenched in karmic patterns. He's caught up in his own cycles, and that's something he's going to have to face. What's playing out here is a powerful shift. When he looks into your space now, he's going to see that you've moved on, potentially with someone who embodies that caring connections energy, someone who represents a true Two of Cups connection. This new energy feels like a real partnership, someone who stands by your side and respects your boundaries. I'm getting a strong sense of the King of Swords here, sharp, decisive, and fiercely protective. I can almost hear the screech of the hawk, symbolizing clarity, vigilance, and a no-nonsense approach to guarding what is his. You're stepping into a space where you're no longer willing to tolerate anything less than you deserve. You've set clear boundaries, and you've attracted a partnership that honors them. This masculine is going to have to witness this transformation from a distance, realizing that he's no longer a part of your narrative. I'm sensing that he's going to have a moment of realization, because remember, he's going to try to pop back into your life, expecting you to be where he left you. Instead, he's going to find you completely at peace. You've given yourself so much more than he ever thought to offer you, and your whole world is thriving. For some of you, he might even see his own wish fulfillment right there in your life, something he once dreamed of. Perhaps even someone on your arm who embodies that dream. While he's been so busy scheming and chasing after shadows, he hasn't tended to his heart space at all. This is a man who doesn't truly know what he wants. He's lost his vision and is now scrambling, trying to grab at whatever bits of energy he can, other people's money, a little power here and there. He's stuck in this betrayal energy, strategizing rather than living authentically. He's become so fixated on this empty pursuit, not realizing that it's not fulfilling, not sustaining. It's not the energy of a builder, someone who creates a lasting foundation. He's surrounded himself with karmic influences, people who are two-faced, who have no loyalty to him. There's a strong two-faced energy coming through, almost like that duality of Gemini, people who might be socially skilled but are playing both sides. They're making sure he doesn't get what he thinks he's entitled to. I'm hearing that phrase, violent means lead to violent ends, suggesting that his actions are going to lead to a tough reckoning. He's underestimated the people he's dealing with, signing contracts or making deals that are not in his favor. It's going to be quite challenging for him to extricate himself from the mess he's created. The reality is, he's trapped himself in a situation where he's surrounded by betrayal and deceit, and he's going to have to face the consequences of his choices. I'm getting that he wanted you to view his offer, his cup, as the best possible one, the highest option you could choose. This man was even willing to let you face betrayal from people who were clearly unsafe to be around, and he didn't lift a finger to prevent it. He saw the betrayal coming. He had the power to stop it, but he chose not to. Instead, he wanted you to settle for his lowball offer, hoping you'd feel desperate enough to accept it. If this message resonates with you, I want you to see this clearly. This is not someone who is safe for you. He likes to present himself as your protector, your sword and shield, the one who stands by you. But in reality, he justifies his inaction by telling himself that things are unfolding as they should without taking any real responsibility. Now, I feel like it's his turn to face the consequences. He's followed his ego, clung to his strategies, and relied on this fractured energy. What I'm sensing is a blocked root chakra combined with an overactive mind. His mind tricks him into believing he's got everything under control, that he can predict every move and avoid any fallout. But life has a way of catching up, and it seems he's been living through a series of unintended consequences. That's what's coming through strongly here. He's experienced many tower moments, sudden disruptions that shake his foundation, and each one catches him off guard, though it really shouldn't anymore. This ignorance, or rather this refusal to see the truth, is part of his ego's defense mechanisms. There's a part of himself he's not willing to confront, the part that doubts he can make it on his own. He's afraid to try, afraid to be vulnerable, and he doesn't see vulnerability as a strength. Instead, he's built up these defenses, thinking he can strategize his way through life without ever truly opening up or facing his fears. Wow, this feels like a beautiful place to pause, doesn't it? I'm feeling such a powerful shift in the energy, and it seems like the messages have found their way exactly where they needed to go. Thank you so much for joining me today, beautiful souls. Remember, you are always guided, always protected, and exactly where you need to be on your journey.